Happy Monday, everybody. Today we are on day 14 of incubation. So we're about 2/3 of the way through. This time next week, we will hopefully be seeing some chicks hatch. Right now, the chicks have grown all their bones and they're just waiting on their bones to harden. You would see that the embryo is covering most of the top portion of the egg, and it's going to start turning its head to the blunt end of the shell, which is near the air cell, because that's the way that they'll hatch. So it's kind of turning its body and laying long ways down the egg. If you look at the egg today, this is what you would see. This is a drawing. You'll see that the eyelid now covers its eye. The skull and the bones have closed and they'll start hardening. And then you would see that the down is covering the whole body. Remember, the chicks aren't going to have feathers when they first hatch. We talked earlier last week about the flight feathers, which you'll be able to see those pretty soon on, but they come out first with the down covering their whole body. And as you can see, the embryo is completely formed. So if we candled the egg today, this is kind of what it would look like. There's not a whole lot of movement anymore in the eggs because the chicks are getting so big and they're kind of filling up the egg. So as you can see, the embryo is filling the top half of the egg and the yolk is becoming more squashed, but you can still see the blood vessels. This is another view of it so that you can see the air cell a little better and you can still see the blood vessels. Today, I will candle the eggs and I'll let you guys know how they look, but I wouldn't see much movement like I said earlier. And if there's any eggs that haven't formed, I'll probably go ahead and throw them out. When Miss Davis and I did the eggs earlier before we got out of school, there were about 3 eggs that we saw hadn't formed any embryos inside. So I already knew there were about 3. So I'll check them again later on today and we'll see if there's any more that we might have to throw out. But we talked about how sometimes all the eggs don't always hatch, and that's just how it is in nature. So the kids know this, and y'all should be ready that we won't have all of our chicks, but we'll have most of them, okay? If we candled it and there wasn't an embryo that formed, this is what it would look like. So there's no air cell. There's really nothing filling it, so you'll be able to see that. So we have to remember at this stage, we also need to wash our hands and make sure that we're not transmitting any bacteria to the chicks or the eggs so that they can be nice and healthy when they hatch. Today, your task is to make a prediction. Remember, a prediction is something that you're making a good guess on from what you already know. You already know that I said that I think there's at least 3 that aren't having embryos in them. So I want you to make a prediction about how many chicks you think that we'll have. There were 18 eggs. There were already 3 that we don't think have any embryos. So now you make a prediction from the rest. How many chicks you think will hatch? I want you to write it down somewhere, and when they hatch next week, we'll be able to see who was the closest to how many we got right. I hope you guys have a great day. Parents, if you're listening, if you haven't already looked at a Zoom account, they're free. If you will go ahead and try to log into Zoom, it's pretty easy. You just need your email and your name. I will be sending out information tomorrow or Wednesday about how to log in to Zoom. I'm shooting for around 1:30 or 2 on Wednesday to do a Zoom, which is just, it's kind of like Facebook or Skype. And we can all talk together. There can be multiple people on the same screen. So we'll try to do that, and we'll do our chick lesson via Zoom on Wednesday. So go ahead and try to plan for that if you can. If you can't be there or you can't do it at that time, it's not a big deal. I'm going to try to figure out how to record it so that way I can send it out even after you guys, after we've done the Zoom, so that people that couldn't be in on it can see it as well. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will send out another chick video tomorrow.